How concerning is Klay's play if they're trying to win the chip this year?
It's concerning in the sense that they need Klay Thompson to have a couple big games for them to win this series. However, I'm not particularly concerned. We just saw him in a closeout game against the Mavs go for 32 with 8 threes. I think it's important to note that this early struggle that he's had against the Boston Celtics has been a trend throughout the playoffs. In games 1 and 2 of every series throughout the playoffs, he's averaging 15 a game on 39 and 30 shooting splits. After that, he's up to 22 a game on 48 and 44 shooting splits. So his game gets better as the series progresses. Now, in relation to the Boston Celtics.
Wait, 1 second. Are you talking about just this year or you're talking about always?
I'm talking about this year.
Okay.
This postseason.
Okay.
Yeah, this postseason.
Okay.
Post 2 lower body leg injuries. So I think when we talk about this specifically with the Boston Celtics, what they have done a great job of, they have contested his shots really well. They've made it tough on him. They've been in his airspace. I think he was 1 for 13 in game 2 on contested shots. He's got to find a way, CJ, to get more uncontested shots. And we talked about this earlier today on Get Up. I think the way to do that is you got to find him in transition. You got to push the pace. The Warriors are so good at finding Klay Thompson and Steph Curry in transition for those transition threes. And in game 2, he missed a couple bunnies at the rim. As a shooter, you want to see those shots go in. Any little thing, free throws, layups, an uncontested 3 in transition, that's ultimately what's going to get you going so then that you can make the contested shots. But overall, I mean, I'm not concerned about Klay. I do expect him to have a couple big games, and they need him to have a couple big games if they're going to win the series.
Well, I'm concerned about him. I'm concerned about him a lot because this is one of the greatest shooters we've ever seen in the history of the game. And over the first 2 games of this series, he's averaging 13 points on 30% shooting from the field and 26% from three-point range. That's not Klay Thompson. That's just not Klay Thompson. That's not the Klay Thompson we know. Now, you're absolutely right. As a series wanes, he's shown that he can get it on and he'll explode into game 5 or game 6. His record speaks for itself. And I believe he's one of the top 5 shooters in the history of basketball. When you look at his numbers and when you look at what he brings to the table, he's a marksman. There's no question about it. But we know that he's not 100%. We know that he's not fully back yet after those 2 nasty leg injuries that he suffered that kept him out over the last 2 years. And so when you take that into account and you think about how Boston is strategizing against him, they're up in his face, they're contesting everything. They're relatively bigger dudes, not Marcus Smart, but a Derek White has good size on him. Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown obviously have good size on them or what have you. It's not as easy for Klay Thompson to get open shots. And if you're making him work for everything that he gets, okay, you guys know this better than me. Legs play an important role in your ability to shoot the basketball. The fresher your legs are, that definitely helps, okay? It's not just about you and your wrists. It's not just about you and your stroke. It's also about the legs that you've got under you as well. And if you're making a guy work overtime to get anything, that's taken away some of that from Klay Thompson. And I think as a result, we're seeing what we're seeing. Now, do I believe this will continue? No. But I will say I concur with Jeff Van Gundy when he says Klay Thompson has to play better in order for them to win this series, because I don't believe that you beat this Boston Celtics team and Klay Thompson doesn't show up at all. I don't believe that.
Not concerned at all. The series is still 1-1. We talked about this. Outside of how they performed in the 4th quarter of game 1, the series should be 2-0, to be honest with you. And looking at what you said previously, because I love to bring up old things.
Sure.
You said that the Warriors only needed 2 out of the 3 to play well in order to win. So the fact that Klay Thompson hasn't shot well 30%, I'm willing to bet it's not going to happen again. He's not going to go 4 for 19 tomorrow in Boston. It's only a matter of time before he plays well and shoots well. They just need Jordan Poole to play better, to be more aggressive, more assertive, similar to how he was in the 3rd quarter. And they can still win this series with 2 of the 3 playing well. Obviously, assuming Steph scores 25 to 30, they can still win. But the concern here is more so about, like you talked about, the legs, the foundation, the dips. He's missing open shots, not just contested. Credit Jaylen Brown for defending well, running him off the line. Marcus Smart's a great defender. They're pressuring him. They're switching a lot. But how often have we seen the Warriors set a screen and slip and get a dunk? Historically, that's their offense. They play at a split post. They play through Draymond Green. I think they should get back to that more often. Obviously, in the 3rd quarter, they'll go high pick and rolls with Steph, clear things out, allow for him to space, and that will also affect Klay's touches. But if they run more of their continuity offense, more of their split movement, that's what's going to give Boston more trouble. So I expect Klay to play well.